Welcome to this week's study tips, and this week we are lucky enough to have an awesome presentation created by our beautiful Miss Britt on some things that have worked for her over the years, and especially working with lots of students at our school, things that she thinks that can just declutter your space and your mind so that you can be the best version to be able to intake all that content and information that you need coming up to these exams. So thanks, Miss Britt. So to begin, organising your study space is actually so key, and I would fully agree with this. If you have a cluttered study space with piles of paperwork, post-it notes everywhere, you cannot possibly organise your thoughts to be able to absorb what you need to. So find a dedicated and clutter-free study area that is quiet and free from distractions. Having a designated space can help you focus better during your study sessions. This is true if you have your phone next to you and it's constantly blipping when somebody snaps you, or somebody can call you and interrupt your flow of thought. If there is so much on your desk that you are overwhelmed with the amount of stuff you have to do, it is not good for your mental state, and it will not actually work at all. So even if you have all that stuff to do, put it in a drawer and just take out what you need for that moment. Just take out what you need for maths, or then put that away and do the same for English. Put that away and do the same for history, or whatever it is. Just have on your desk what you need to study in that moment. It is incredibly helpful to do that. Now, study tip number 2, use a timer. It seems like such a simple thing, and your teachers do this in class all the time. But if you incorporate time study activities to get used to writing and completing tasks within these specific time frames, it's so valuable for your exams. This time management is crucial. You will not have a teacher there who's going to say to you, now stop and work on the next question. That is completely up to you. So if you can't get used to doing that in a time where you are less stressed, it's going to be very, very difficult when you're under timed examination conditions. I often say, look at your examination papers that are coming up, or your teachers can tell you how much time should be spent on each section, and that's what you set. There's no point setting yourself 2 hours to write an essay that you need to write in 40 minutes in an exam. So it's all well and good to practice those, but you need to be able to work within those conditions. I also think a timer is really great to be able to remind you to have breaks, and splitting up that time so it doesn't become completely overwhelming. Alrighty. So study tip number 3 from Miss Britt: time allocations for exam sections. So plan ahead. Decide how much time you want to spend on each section of your exams. So, for instance, set a time limit for multiple choice questions, extended responses, etc. So if you wear a watch, remember to place it on your desk during exams to help you keep track of time. Remember exam times, especially when you're coming into year 12, but certainly in year 11 as well. They're very, very strict on what sort of watch you wear as well. So remember, no smart devices, but have it on your desk, get used to using it. It's a bit of an extension from the last study tip, but hugely, hugely beneficial. All right, next tip. Create comprehensive study notes. So use dot points from the syllabus as headings for your study notes. Create mind maps for jotting down information about each point, because that can aid in your organising of your study material. Check out the Board of Studies, BORD, the website, for additional study materials specific to each topic of your subjects. Board of Studies is actually an amazing resource. I think created a very long time ago, may have even been by students, but the wealth of information that's in that website is actually quite incredible, even for teachers. Okay, next one, make a study planner. We went through this a little earlier in the term, but again, reiterating that's so important. Having a study planner for each day, taking into account family events, work shifts, etc. Some of you have already done this, and it's been so amazing to see how organised it looks when you've got it on that page. This is going to help you determine how many hours you can dedicate to study on different days. Make sure you include how long you'll spend on each subject. Share a copy of the planner with your family, and I actually think that's such a key point. If your family doesn't know what your study plan is going to be and they organise, a weekend away just before an assessment's due because you haven't told them, that's going to make life really hard for you. Communication is so key. We say that all the time. Communicate with your teachers, but also communicate with your family. Rightio, next up. Utilize visual aids. Again, I went through this a little bit last week, but visual aids absolutely can enhance memory retention and make studying more engaging. Create visuals that aid in remembering important information. Place them in spots that you see, wardrobes, walls, and like I said last week, on the back of your toilet door is a great one. Up next, highlight and underline the keywords. We've been saying this since probably as long as you can remember as your teachers. During your HSC exams, highlight or underline keywords in the paper, in the exam itself. This technique can help you remember the main points you need to cover in all your answers, because it's so easy to get lost when you're in that mode and you're answering a question. You're like, uh-oh, what am I actually talking about? Go back to that question and see what you've underlined. Next up, flashcards are amazing. I see students use flashcards already, and they are such a great tool. They condense key information into bite-sized pieces, making it easier to follow and review and remember these important concepts. Creating flashcards for vocab, formulas, key dates, anything that's critical information from your subjects. They can be easily created through digital formats such as Quizlet, and lots of people like to just do it by hand as well. Really, really useful and an easy thing you can do. I love this. Brain dump. Once reading time is over in your exam and you can write, take advantage of the blank page in your writing booklet for a brain dump. Some of you get so stressed, you're like, I've only got 40 minutes to complete this section. But if your brain's scattered, it's going to be very hard to be coherent on that paper. So if you can spend a couple of seconds, couple of minutes just getting it out on paper so that you can go back to it and be a little bit more organized in your thoughts, it's really helpful. You can write down your quotes and in facts that you have memorized and stored in your head. They're on the page, they're there, you don't have to remember them anymore. Really helpful if you forget to use them during the exam, because they are there. Next up, we have past exam papers. There are so many past exam HSC papers, even for year 11, that you can download and complete. You can do this now. You can also complete sections of every subject online, and they'll be marked real time. There's some amazing platforms out there. You can then see your answers and make areas of weakness a focus of study for your upcoming assessments or exams. Amazing tip. Next up, we have reward yourself. Now, this is really key. We all get bogged down. We all get overwhelmed, and it comes to a point sometimes that we can get burnt out. So setting mini goals for your study sessions and rewarding yourself with things that you love to do is such a good thing. Don't forget this step. Treat yourself to watching a Netflix episode of your favorite show that's on at the moment, or go for a bike ride if you really love that. Go, I'm going to work for 25 minutes, or I'm going to work for 30, and then I'm going to go for a walk outside. It focuses you for your study and helps you get through what you need to get through, because you know it's not going to be overwhelming and you can have a break soon. All right. Lastly, but most importantly, stay positive. Remember to maintain a positive mindset throughout your study journey. Positive thinking can literally, scientifically boost your confidence and motivation, leading to more productive study sessions. This can be hard to do, I know. We all become burnt out, we all become overwhelmed, but we have to remember that we are enough on who we are right at this moment, and everything we do is addition and helping us to stay positive and be the best versions of ourselves. Thanks, guys.